All right, racists, let's talk about...
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
It's no secret that racist America has a rabid obsession with the black American woman. What's the true secret, however, is that the fascination is an obsession that the inferior has for the superior. It's a bitter fixation like a peasant would have for a queen. They are obsessed because the magic that they see in her is a tangible they can never get their hands on. Racists see an architect of culture, a commander of language, and an unbreakable pillar of creation through resilience. While white history is the definition of theft, the black American woman is an encyclopedia of genius written against impossible odds. But hey, let's look at the evidence. Look at the women who built reality from imagination. Shirley Chisholm, the political prophet who was unbought and unbossed. She was the first black American woman in Congress who had the audacity to run for president and shattered the idea that the White House is a White House. Zora Neale Hurston, a literary anthropologist and author who journeyed through the South to preserve the folklore, songs, and stories of her people. She captured the rhythm, language, and soul of black life in America in a way that white anthropologists could only observe from a sterile, distant shore. Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history. She has redefined the limits of human potential with a dominance so absolute they had to literally redesign the sports scoring system in a futile attempt to contain her greatness. She is the living embodiment of black excellence as a physical force of nature.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be talking about a white content creator who is going to be talking in this viral video, and he's going to be calling out his own people and at the same time dropping very uncomfortable hard truth bombs on people, yeah?
Right, and he's also gonna be telling us reasons why white people are obsessed with black people, and he's also gonna be talking about white people who played a stupid game and hence won stupid prizes.
Right guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here, but for now, let's get into the video and then we come back and talk about it.
All right, racists, let's treat those intelligence allergies and talk about a big word, antagonism. To antagonize is to make hostile or unfriendly, to make an enemy or antagonist of, to act in opposition to. Racist Americans have a huge problem and a clinical obsession with antagonizing indigenous black Americans. Racists use a calculated, weaponized strategy designed to provoke and control, and ultimately destroy the peace of the true indigenous people of this land. And no one has perfected this dark art quite like racist white women. A perfect example of this pathological behavior was displayed on the Netflix documentary, The Perfect Neighbor. Although Susan Lawrence isn't the blueprint physically, she embodies the blueprint. Women like this are not passive. They are aggressors who use a specific venomous toolkit. The first spell casted by the White Witch is the weaponized 911 phone call. This is her narrative patrol, where she uses law enforcement to gain the upper hand, to force outcomes that confirm her biases and pushes her narrative. They report black American children for selling water. They report black American families for barbecuing. They report black American men for existing in their own spaces. They know exactly which buttons to push. They have mastered the art of violence through boredom, even if that means turning a manufactured 911 call into a potential death sentence. The second spell is the performance of victimhood. They are the ones screaming and crying and clutching their pearls after they have thrown the first verbal, usually physical, and/or psychological stone. They create a scene and then they position themselves as the damsel in distress, activating a system they know will side with their tears over a black person's reality. It's like some witchy mind trick, played with white womanhood as the ultimate weapon. The third spell, and the most dangerous of all, is the escalation to violence. Quick interjection, I'm about to spoil the documentary a little bit. So if you haven't seen it, I am so sorry, love, but I'm about to ruin it. Susan Lawrence, the Blueprint Jr., carefully placed a 911 call before creating the drama. She confronts the children knowing that they would get their parents. She shouts racial slurs. She threatens. She instigates the conflict, and then when challenged, feels entitled to use lethal force. She unalived an innocent woman over a dispute about her children. A mother coming to the rescue of her sons whose tablet was being held by Susan, which proves that for Susan, the ultimate desired outcome of this antagonism wasn't just control. She wanted to fully extract the joy out of everyone around, a true assassin of peace. Now that women like this are being seen, just know that visuals like this one will be their only memory. We will remember those idiots who play stupid games and win stupid prizes, pretending that they can just act their way out of consequences. Look at this pathetic shit.
We can probably go ahead and put handcuffs on her. Let's get
Come
her.
on, Susan,
Let's get you
stand up.
handcuffed.
No,
Stand up.
no, don't touch me.
Susan,
Stand up, Susan.
don't.
No,
Listen,
sorry, I can't
It can
do
go
this.
one
I
of two
can't
ways.
do
It can
this.
go an easy way or it can go a really hard way.
I'm sorry.
We don't want it to go the hard way.
I'm so sorry. I
Susan,
can't
put
do
yourself in our position. There's no choice in this. You're going over there.
this. I'm sorry, I can't do this.
What you're saying and doing right now is not reasonable.
I know.
All right, racists, let's talk about
We're all here. We're all here. We're all very happy to be here. Yes, indeed.
Racist America has a pathetic hobby, and it's telling fairy tales about the true indigenous people of this land, forgetting that the indigenous Americans have known about their history since childhood. The many stories of how their grandparents were the first to tell them the name of their tribe, how true indigenous Americans from the southeast U.S. hold traditions through family kinship to the matriarchs. Big Mama, or Grandma, has always been the true leader of her tribe. No matter the race or culture, we are all envious and aware that there is no other power greater than a true indigenous Black American grandmother. But racist Americans have the audacity to spin fables about the true indigenous Americans' history, a history that racist America tried to systematically burn, bury, and erase. Racists have the nerve to speak about indigenous American spiritual practices, or their connection to this soil, or their very existence, as if it's a theory that racists can debate. It seems like racist America is under the impression that they have some special access or hidden knowledge about melanated people, when white people know that they can't even pronounce names, or name the original nations of the territories that they occupy. Their mirage of knowledge is just a costume they wear to feel superior, a cheap prop in their ongoing performance of expertise. But the costume is transparent. We see the insecurity underneath. Racists really need these fairy tales. They need to believe that they truly understand the copper-colored Americans, because the reality is that they're perpetual strangers on stolen land, living in a ghost of a civilization they murdered through passive bitch tactics. White people are too cowardice to overthrow indigenous people. They use the same tactics as today: manipulation and theft, the actual truth that shatters their entire identity. But we must ask ourselves, why are white men so excited at the idea of being superior to Black indigenous Americans? Is it because of the truth and understanding that Black men are truly the essence of and the actual anatomical representation of a man? Not a white man, not a Native American man, not an Asian man, not a Mexican man, not a Russian, not an Australian, and definitely not a Jewish or Zionist man. And when white people become pros at washing their ass, then they can join the conversations regarding history. But until then, also, you can't continue to repeat history and then claim you have knowledge on it. Honey, your past is still present. Fannie Lou Hamer, the sharecropper who turned a brutal beating into a thunderous voice for the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, forcing a nation to hear the price of the vote. Octavia Butler, the literary scientist who used science fiction to dissect the pathologies of the present and prescribe visions of a future where Black people not only survive, but lead the evolution of humanity. Marsha P. Johnson, the warrior and pioneer who stood at the forefront of the Stonewall Uprising, defending the right to exist with a fearless joy that ignited a global movement for liberation. Mae Jemison, the chemical engineer, physician, and NASA astronaut who broke the ultimate barrier, carrying the spirit of her people into the cosmos as the first Black American woman in space. Toni Morrison, the Nobel laureate who took the English language, the very tool of racial subjugation, and forged it into a weapon of sublime truth, telling the stories white people were terrified to tell about themselves. Ida B. Wells, the investigative journalist, educator, and early civil rights leader who wielded her pen like a sword, exposing the barbarism of lynching and fighting terror with unflinching, documented truth. Annie Turnbow Malone, a millionaire inventor and business magnate who developed a revolutionary line of hair and beauty products for Black women. She built an empire, Poro College, that trained thousands of women in entrepreneurship and created economic independence long before corporate America would let them in the door. Racist Americans are obsessed because the Black American woman is the ultimate creator and innovator. Black American women are the master economists who can build a legacy from nothing. Black American women are the artists who define global culture. Black American women are the scientists who cure the uncurable. We honestly have Black American women to thank for our past, for our present, and for our future. Black American women are the creators. Black American women are the leaders. Black American women are the standard. So continue shining in your natural beauty like the goddess you are, in full confidence, knowing that there's no person greater on this planet than the Black American woman.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this video in the comment section, yeah? You know, that video of Malcolm X talking about how the Black American women are the most disrespected group in America, I feel like that really landed, and the question you're asking about that statement is, what really changed from the time that speech was made to up to now, 2025, in America with Black women?
Right. And the real question you have to ask ourselves today is, why are Black women held in the position they're held in society right now? And is the Black community as a whole, are the Black men as a whole doing what they need to do in order to make sure that their women are seen with utmost respect that they deserve?
Right, and I feel like the world knows the power of a Black woman. When he was talking at some point in his video about the matriarchs of the family and how Big Mama, people knew the power of Big Mama, and people knew what Big Mama could do in the family and the unity they commanded in their families, you know. So I feel like the world knows the strength of a Black woman, but the question is, because I also feel like also in America, Black women have gone over above and beyond to prove their worth in America. A lot of them are high achievers, and a lot of them had to go out there, study with, despite the difficulties they faced here, they had to go out there and conquer the world of jobs and businesses, you know,
Right.
to get to the point where society can get to recognize and respect them. But there was a video also that was going viral on TikTok where an Indian man came onto the platform and talked about how his mother told him if he ever got lost to find a Black woman. Why is that? The video kind of got double reaction where
Mixed reaction, yeah.
right, mixed reaction, where some people were like, that is true, a Black woman will always help any other person. It doesn't matter the color of their skin, they will always help. But others were reacting to it negatively because they were talking about, and of which I understood them, because I feel like the timing for that statement was kind of tricky, you know. So they were talking about Black women needing to rest because Black women were tired and they didn't want to be seen as the help anymore, you know.
Right.
And this one question I only have to ask is, even the white people, the Caucasians in America, why would you feel like the Black woman was worth nothing, yet you are leaving these women with your children for them to take care of, and your wives were there, you know?
Right. And it's not only this creator alone, but most content creators who are white and speak on Black issues, they view white women as being obsessed with the Black women. And the biggest question again is, why would this be, right? Because since time immemorial, Black Americans, especially Black American women, have tried explaining this from their viewpoint that white women might be obsessed with Black women because to some extent they see what Black women have, and they know that they can never be what Black women are. Because if you compare the position of a Black woman since slavery, Black women were the most, okay, both Black and Black women and men were mistreated, but Black women, having faced the graping situation and all of that, still found a reason to sing and be happy amongst the community. And white people would often wonder why or how Black people were finding this joy, you know. And also the mere fact that they were white, but their husbands were never satisfied with what they were, to a point where they had to go out and grape the help.
And he also talked about something very important, and I feel like amongst the white community there are rules, but unwritten rules that they all play to and they
Right.
all recognize, because he was talking about something to do with antagonizing the Black community, and he listed the situations very well. But before we even start listing these situations, I know from the Black community a lot of you can resonate with that word, and when you talk about them antagonizing the Black community, already I know as a personal situation has clicked in mind, you know. Because let's talk about, there was a photo that was going viral that later on came to be proved that it was AI, yeah, and Tabitha Speaks Politics, I think she covered it in her channel, where a black child was being arrested by white cops, you know, and that in itself, I can say that was an antagonizing situation, because what was the purpose of that photo going out there and going viral, despite being that photo was never real, you know? And he even mentioned the stages of these antagonistic situations towards the black community, and he gave a perfect example of that woman, the neighbor, who has a documentary on Netflix. I didn't watch the documentary because I didn't want to get angry, but I watched little opinions of people on TikTok where they were talking about the situation. But the case, we already saw it on TikTok when it happened, and how it occurred, and how somebody ended up losing their lives. Yeah, so imagine, guys, how evil you have to be for you to orchestrate a whole plan, even know what you're going to be calling 911 for, and you're going out to commit a crime in the name of self-defense, and you're pew-pewing somebody through the door
Not even armed.
who is not even armed, you know. And they already know how to weaponize the system against black people, because things like 911, the police, you know, these are things that they can weaponize and use against the black community for their own benefits. We've even talked about the white women tears, and this is something that I feel like as technology develops and as generations goes on, people are becoming aware of these things. Therefore, I feel like change is inevitable, because already when people are having conversations about these things, then it becomes very difficult for the perpetrator to use them against the very same communities, because once somebody starts talking about their own experiences, then you realize that, wait a minute, there's a name to the situation I'm going through, and I'm not the only one who is going through it. There's somebody in a very different state who you don't even know, who has gone through the exact same thing, meaning they're all playing within the same playbook, those unwritten rules I keep on talking about, and the system is enabling them to do this. Because, guys, ask yourself, how is it that I know a cop has been trained to already know who is telling the truth and who is lying, but if a white woman calls the cops on a black woman or a black man, unless you have video footage you've recorded of an incident that has happened, they get there, and even if they hear both sides of the story, they already know who is in the wrong, but they will end up siding with that white woman or that white man.
Right.
It's why they feel comfortable in the beginning to even call law enforcement on false allegations.
So guys, let us know what you think about this episode. Also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.